If you're a serious lifter, you might be suffering from bigorexia, which is the delusional idea that you're small or you're never big enough, when in fact, you're actually quite jacked. Your muscle measurements are on point, your strength is through the roof, you have people turning heads when they see you walking down the street, you're the biggest guy in your gym, you have an amazing physique. But every time you look in the mirror, you see someone who's scrawny, you see someone who's small. In fact, there's a famous quote that you may have heard of. The day you started lifting is the day you became forever small. Isn't that sad? Is that how it's supposed to be? I thought lifting was about improving yourself and feeling happy with this newly acquired body. It's supposed to enhance your life, not make you look in the mirror and say, damn, man, I'm so dissatisfied. So in this video, I want to share one simple technique of dealing with bigorexia, okay? Specifically bigorexia, although I would love to talk more about body dysmorphia in general. So let me know if you want more content like this, okay? I would first like to say that I can tell you all the great things you want about your physique. I can compliment you left and right. Say, hey man, you're so jacked, this and that. I could say a million different things and you're going to feel great. Temporarily. I can tell you that you're the biggest guy. I can give you all these logical facts. I can lay down the facts. But it's not going to do anything. Because right now you are in a delusional state of mind by which you think you're small when you're actually big. I can tell you all the best things in the world. It's not going to work. It's like telling someone, hey, just be confident. When in fact, many things are going wrong with that person's life, and you can't just turn on a light switch like that and feel amazing. It's the same thing with body dysmorphia. You develop this over a long period of time, and it can be corrected with simple sayings like that, like, hey man, you're already jacked, or motivational videos. It doesn't work. Long term, it doesn't work. So there's only one proven way of really dealing with bigorexia in particular. That is, you must enter a smaller state. Let me explain myself, okay? Let me explain this. The only way you can realize how big you actually are and conquer this fear of looking small is to actually become smaller. Does that make sense? This goes for many things in life. You will realize how jacked and how big you appear once you're no longer there. You only appreciate that which you already had once it's no longer available, okay? We take things for granted. You take your physique for granted. You don't realize what the hell is actually there. So what I'm suggesting is that a lot of you should be going through a cut. Not because your objective is to be lean, but to make yourself feel uncomfortable, to experience a true sense of being smaller. Because right now, the feelings that you're currently experiencing are delusional. They're not real. They don't make sense. So the only way for you to get back to reality is to enter reality. That means getting smaller. Now, am I saying that you have to lose muscle gains to stop lifting? Of course not. Absolutely not. What I am suggesting is that you should be going through a cut, okay? Maybe drop 20 pounds, and that should be more than enough for you to realize how big you actually were, okay? Because if you're a natural lifter and you go through a real freaking cut, okay, you lose some good fat on you, maybe going from 20% body fat to 15 or even 10% body fat, you will finally understand what it really feels like to be small. Let me say that again. If you go from a higher body fat to a lower body fat as a natural, you'll know what it feels like to be small. For real this time. It's not going to be a delusional thing. It's going to be for real. Because when you're calorie deficit, your strength numbers are going to go down. Your shirts are going to get looser. And now your body dysmorphia, which was delusional, is now real. And it's through the roof. And you feel uncomfortable. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you're completely dissatisfied. That's why a lot of guys fail on their cuts. They're halfway done. They look in the mirror. They feel so scrawny. They have to give up right away. What I'm suggesting is that you should go through the entire process, ride it out, and embrace the feeling of being uncomfortable, okay? And once you hit that lower body fat percentage, you will without a doubt look smaller. You'll look better when you take your shirt off and you're pumped up and you're doing flexing and stuff like that, close-ups to the camera. But in normal conditions, you will feel smaller, and that's just the truth. So what you have to do is ride that out for a little bit and get used to that feeling of being small. You're no longer Mr. Big Man. And during this process, I want you to look at some of your older pictures and older training clips and older videos and realize how good you fucking had it. Please do that for me, man. Look at those pictures. Look at the measurements. Look at the mass. And you know what? You're going to be impressed. You're going to be like, damn, I had it all along. That's when it's finally going to click. Once you're small and you revisit those older pictures where you were massive, where you appeared much larger, you will significantly reduce your bigorexia because now it finally clicks. All that delusion, all that self-pity that you had, which shouldn't have existed in the first place, it all makes sense now. It all clicks, and now you're like, wow, I was big the whole time, but I wasn't seeing it. Does that make sense, guys? What you have to do is get smaller on purpose, okay? Learn to be uncomfortable and then revisit some of those older pictures where you are big. And then you will finally deal with the bigorexia in a real way. You will make that mental connection, and it's going to be a beautiful thing when you decide to bulk back up, okay? If you even choose to. Some of you guys, you're going to cure this completely. Like legit, you're going to reach a leaner state, and you're going to actually be happy with this body, and you're no longer going to want to be in a heavier state. But for those who are ready to go back to it, now you'll do it with a more realistic perspective. You'll understand that you were big the entire time, and once you get back to that state, it's like, wow, now you are truly freaking happy. You're content. You have evolved on a mental level. You made that connection, and it's no longer delusional. And now, if I decide to compliment you, if I decide to say, dude, you're jacked as hell, and if I show you the muscle measurements, it makes sense, especially if you took before shots, before and after shots. So before, 160 pounds, after 185 pounds, just an example here. Now you see what the truth actually is, and you're no longer living under this self-delusion, because that's exactly what it is. It's delusional thinking because you're actually jacked already, okay? And everything I'm telling you, it's experience-based, and a lot of guys have reported the exact same thing. Once you know what it really feels like to be small, you'll understand how good you had it all along. And that's what really helps with the bigorexia in particular, okay? So that's my very simple advice for this video. It's general. There's more I could talk about. There's a lot I could say about the subject of not feeling content with yourself, okay? Most of us as serious lifters experience this on a consistent basis. So let me know if this video helps you out, okay? Keep me updated. And with that said, I'll talk to you next time.